only on ATN.
Good day, viewers, once again, and welcome to another great episode of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. Here we bring you the news, events, and stories about your state system. ATN's appetite for in-depth, unbiased, and factual reportage is the driving principle for this program in order to bring government activities to the doorstep of everyone. We'll go through the highlights of today's reports. In the headlines, we have Tinubu approves 10 billion grants for federal university. Tinubu seeks debt forgiveness for developing nations. Technology can't solve our electoral challenges, says Jonathan. Federal government predicts 5-day heavy rainfall in different states. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll go straight into the details of these headlines. Stay with us.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water, and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats, and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women, and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors, and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
And now we dive into the details for today. Analyst says Rivers people have lost hope in the level of preparation by the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission in the forthcoming Rivers State local government elections in the state. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network Open Conversation, a political analyst, Chizi Onyemasila, tasked RISEC on a media chat for clarities towards the local government polls.
The research should go to INEC. I mean, the election local government should go to INEC. That's because what they found here, they thought that was bad until they came to a place that is both wicked, nonsense, and it does not exist. That's what is happening. If not, we are in a federative state. Will people be arguing that there's some, you know, I was looking at the other day. I said, do you know that in Nigeria we have 3 tiers of government, and in US they have 2 tiers? You know why it's 2 tiers? Yes, they have local council, municipal councils. Why? Because they are.
Onyemasila expressed uncertainty on the judicial approval and due process not attained by the RISEC.
It also comes to question the intelligence of those in power. I'm not exaggerating it. And I think the chairman of RISEC should speak up, because this is making mess of his experience and other things. And reputation. And reputation. I mean, what is the budget of RISEC? What is their budget? Which assembly has accepted the appropriation for the budget? Which assembly? What is the appropriation law? What's the appropriation law? On which appropriation are they even spending the money on? Which RISEC? How much? That's why he said, how would a RISEC public policy director come to speak, commissioner speak? Speak and what? The guy know that he will let them.
This is coming after the All People's Party in Rivers State dismissed the viral online list of its chairmanship candidates for the October 5th local government elections. He said the party will only publish the list after completing all party procedures like candidate substitutions, while the APP national vice chairman for the South-South also denied claims that the party's candidates were handpicked by the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara. Still in Rivers State, 2024 Annual National Conference of Nigeria Institution of Management Chartered was packed with lots of activities marking the event. Correspondent Oluchi Nwafa was on ground to complete the report.
2024 Annual National Conference of the Nigerian Institute of Management Chartered continued today, Tuesday, the 24th of September 2024, at the Obiwale International Conference Center, Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. The event featured annual general meeting of the Institute, aimed at receiving the President's statement and report of the Council for the year 2023, also to receive the audited accounts for the year 2023, and to reappoint auditors, authorize the Council to fix their remuneration. The event also featured breakout section where panelists spoke extensively on issues that could hinder economic growth. Speaking on foreign exchange crisis, inflation, and food security, Latifat Lawal, an agro-business specialist, stressed on the need for increase of food productivity in the nation.
Once again, I want to speak on the need for us to increase our productivity. Agriculture is a low-hanging fruit. I don't know why it's so hard for us as a nation to see. It's a low-hanging fruit. It's something that if we put in some effort, these three issues, foreign exchange, just like I mentioned yesterday, we are importing so much when we can even produce these things that we import. Unfortunately for us also, we don't even have any capacity. For us to import, we need to pay dollars. How are we earning the dollars? We don't even have it. Luckily, it's forcing us as producers to look inwards. So a lot of people that even import things like wheat and milk and all of that, they're starting to look inwards. We have to do it from ourselves.
On his part, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, while highlighting on media and information management in a crisis situation, noted that the media serves as key platform for educating the public about the nature of economic crisis, its causes and potential solutions. On accountability, Dr. Chinyere said the media can hold the government accountable through the covering of government action, policy and public programs, adding that information management is crucial in shaping how economic solution is perceived globally. Conclusively, Dr. Chinyere maintained that media and information management are instrumental in ensuring that Nigerian public is well informed, that the government is held accountable, and that solutions to crises are communicated effectively to both local and global audience.
Nigeria can flow and manage better information during crisis when we ensure that both the public and policymakers have access to the accurate and timely information necessary for effective crisis response. 7. We are elaborating that policy formulation, implementation, and evaluation should be given proper place in the governance system in the country.
Also speaking at the event, Johnson Chukwu, who spoke on the impact of global economic policy on Nigeria's productivity and sustainable development, said that government must provide transport infrastructure in order to sustain productivity.
The government must make sure we drive quality infrastructure, physical infrastructure. That countries have developed and are able to mitigate global shock, have world-class infrastructure. China is a living example. Today, India is developing world-class infrastructure. Without transport infrastructure, without logistics infrastructure, today the world has included even technology, broadband internet as part of the physical infrastructure they need to provide. The government must drive infrastructure build to make sure that we have an economy that is productive.
Other highlights of the event includes presentation of awards to the breakout speakers and video clips of the proposed management house building project. Oluchi Nwafa, ATN News, Port Harcourt.
And now on to the FCT, where the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Yesum, is in. Committed to ensuring project of nutrition and regional urban development as a key to health, education and agriculture. The minister stated this while receiving the delegation of Japan International Cooperation Agency on Tuesday, the 24th of September 2024 in Abuja. The delegation came to seek for an approval of nutrition and regional urban development projects and implementation in Federal Capital Territory. Wiki assured the delegation of FCTA partnership, stressing that the project will be included in the 2025 budget to ensure transparency and accountability.
Total commitment in these two major projects of nutrition and urban and regional planning, like the review or presentation of how far you've gone with the nutrition program. At least we can see that there is a lot of improvement, and we want to say that for the 2025 budget, we'll try as much as we can to see whether we can improve on our budgeting system for that, but with transparency to really know how the monies are being spent. Nutrition is very key for health, very key for education, and also very key for agriculture. So if we could add more, it will go a long way in improving the standard of these three major sectors. On the regional planning, you can be assured, just like you said, what you expect from us. We can assure you that the three items which you have itemized under the expectations of what you're expecting from FCT, be assured we'll do it as quickly as possible. Luckily, we're the protocol in charge because of the low babas and the quite required for Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so that we will be able to, kickstart the process, because November is almost here, and December is also here. So I will begin to see how we can exchange and then do the needful. For us, as heads of the FCT administration, be assured that it's a project that we're keen, a project that we're committed, and we'll do all we can to see that this project comes to fruition.
Speaking earlier, leader of the GICA delegation, Ambassador of Japan to Nigeria, Ambassador Mutsunaga Kazuyushi, said Japanese company will support Nigeria's vision of ending open defecation by 2030 through the provision of public mobile toilets in schools and streets of Abuja.
So I would like to see the paper. So year 2021, when I came here, I started a project to prevent the open defecation in FCT by providing the least expensive toilet. So this is the one. This is very environmentally friendly and also very cheap. The cost of this toilet is just $8. So we work together with UNICEF to install this project, the toilet in Kuwari LGA, especially the Tukurua community. If I understand in Nigeria, 25% of Nigerians are still depending on the open defecation. So it is very important to collaborate with not only the UN agency, but also collaborate with the Japanese company who manufacture this toilet in Nigeria. to spread this toilet, to prevent the transmitted disease, to enable more girls to school, and then to for the community to earn profit.
So first one is a nutrition project. It lasted more than 5 years in the past. During the COVID era, we kept on our efforts. And thanks to the dedication and commitment and the leadership of our counterpart who are sitting here, the project was really successful. And the dedication by Japanese experts here, we achieved a lot to improve the nutrition status in FCT. And second one is urban development, the master plan. As we discussed and agreed at the last meeting, we are now in the process for preparation for implementing this master plan revision work. And this time, we received two staff members from Tokyo delegated for this project. So we are now requesting the Japanese government to continue this effort for next fiscal year. So once it is approved, we'd like to resume our intervention again. But in order to do so, we'd like to maintain the momentum that you have created, in particular the commitment and collaboration amongst the different departments, and also the budget for sustaining our project. So today, we'd like to brief you on achievements, remarkable achievements that we have made, and issues that we would like to request for your support.
On his part, representative of the GICA for the Nutrition and Urban Development Project, Yuzowu Susomu, spoke on the significance of the project to Nigerians and its economic value to the Federal Capital Territory. Moving on, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved over 10 billion naira takeoff grant for the newly upgraded and recently unveiled Federal College of Education in Panshi to Federal University of Education in Plateau State. Member representing Panshi Kani Kanam Federal Constituency, Yusuf Adamu Gaji, made this known at the official unveiling of the university by the National Universities Commission on the spot assessment in Panshi local government area of Plateau State. The member, who was the sole sponsor of the bill for upgrade from the FCE Panshi to the university status, noted that he was a fulfilled man because the bill was assented to by the former President Muhammadu Buhari and minuted to the former minister, but was kept under the carpet. According to him, Buhari approved the bill overriding the Ministry of Education to commence immediately, but it became a big problem, giving rooms for some people in social media castigating Gaji to have lied. Today, I'm being exonerated. I went and appealed to President Tinubu that every new university always have a problem with getting releases from TET Fund. And Mr. President approved our 10 billion takeoff grant for the Federal University of Education in Panshi. He added the President has directed that the grant should be released immediately through the TET Fund to the university for its effective takeoff activities. The lawmaker further explained the federal government has also approved of over 161 staff to cover the gap of the university, and he has handed the approval to the chairman of the governing board. Do not forget we are open for advert placements, bookings and commercials. You can follow us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and Instagram, Atlantic Television Network, TikTok and YouTube, Atlantic TV Network 1, X formerly known as Twitter, Atlantic TV/net, and our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu this morning sought debt forgiveness for developing countries from lenders. He also called for the recovery of the proceeds of corruption and illicit financial flows from developing countries, stressing that the return of such funds to countries of origin is a fundamental principle of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. The president also called for a collective action against hunger, terrorism, climate change, and other global challenges. He urged world leaders to recommit themselves to multilateralism by deepening relations among its member states of the United Nations. In line with the principles in inclusivity, equality, and cooperation, President Tinubu, who is the chairman of the Authority of Heads of States and Government of the Economic Community of West African States, made the remarks in Nigeria's national statement at the ongoing 79th UNGA Assembly in New York. He was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima. The president addressed the assembly at 3 a.m. Nigerian time, decrying the steep descent in singularity and nationalism by many countries. He said the pattern was undermining the quest for peaceful and collective resolution of global challenges. These challenges, President Tinubu said, included terrorism, climate change, poverty, food crisis, hyperinflation, nuclear proliferation, and grinding debt burden. President Tinubu urged the UN to promise debt forgiveness for Nigeria and other developing countries from creditors and multilateral financial institutions. He said, quoting him, "Similarly, we must ensure that any reform of the international financial system includes comprehensive debt relief measures to enable sustainable financing for development of countries of the global south cannot make meaningful economic progress without special concessions and the review of their current burden of debt." He also called for the recovery of the proceeds of corruption and illicit financial flows, maintaining that the return of such funds to origins countries is a fundamental principle of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. He said, the international community must promote practical measures to strengthen international cooperation to recover and return stolen assets and to eradicate safe havens that facilitate illicit flow of funds from developing countries to developed countries. President Tinubu said the United Nations stands for multilateralism, which represents inclusiveness anchored on the tripod of peace, sustainable development, and human rights. He expressed worry about the main objectives of the UN and how it could sustain the global body's relevance and resilience, noting that the pillars of the organization are being put at risk of being broken against the principles of inclusivity, equality, and cooperation, which it stands for. Moving on, he implored the International Committee to stick to the implementation of the commitments made at the various COP meetings, pointing out that failure to do so would amount to postponing the inevitable, as no country is immune from the effects of climate change. The president, who observed that conflict prevention is the main reason why the UN was established, regretted that the task of preventing these conflicts have become arduous following their normalization, when even the condemnation of violence and civilian casualties and calls for the ceasefire are somehow regarded as controversial. He listed some of the root causes of conflicts to include poverty, hunger, ignorance, inequality, and exclusion, as well as other forms of injustices, just as he cited the conflict in Sudan and war in Gaza and other Palestinian territories. He added, "What this tells us is that the International Committee has failed to live up to the spirit and aspirations of the United Nations to rid the world of inequality, violence, and domination of one people by another. Justice is antithetical to revenge." President Tinubu further insisted on bold reforms in the UN Security Council with a view to giving Nigeria and other African countries permanent seats at the Council, stressing that it has since become imperative for the UN to strengthen its relevance and credibility in a rapidly changing world. He said, some permanent members of the United Nations Security Council have offered encouraging, if tentative, indications of support on the issue of reform of the Council. We welcome the change in tone and urge an acceleration in the momentum to the process. The Security Council should be expanded in the permanent and non-permanent members categories to reflect the diversity and plurality of the world. We fully support the efforts of the Secretary General, Guterres, in this regard. Africa must be accorded the respect that it deserves in the Security Council. Our continent deserves a place in the permanent members category of the Security Council, with the same rights and responsibilities as other permanent members. In a different story, former President Goodluck Jonathan yesterday said the outcome of last weekend's governorship election in Edo State has shown that technology would not solve Nigeria's electoral challenges. Jonathan said the main mindset was key to resolution of the electoral problems, but he regretted that many Nigerians had a dirty attitude to politics. The former president canvassed attitudinal change among citizens. Jonathan made the remarks in Abuja at a program organized by the Institute of Peace and Conflict Resolution and partners in commemoration of the International Day of Peace. The former president went on to point out that the struggle for power remained the major cause of conflict in Africa. Former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Uche Secondus, warned that 2027 might come to political reality because the other party has buried the country's democracy.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back to Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Federal government has issued a warning for heavy rains in 15 states, predicting potential flooding from September the 24th to 28th, 2024. NEMA urged River State government to construct emergency shelters for flood victims after follows high alert of the Nigeria's hydrological agency from Cameroon's Lagbo Dam water release. In a significant weather alert, the federal government has forecasted heavy rains across 15 states encompassing 35 locations over the next 5 days. This prediction issued by the National Early Flood Warning System Center of the Federal Ministry of Environment on Tuesday highlights the potential for severe flooding from September 24 to 28. The identified states are locations as Delta States, Abraka, Agbo, Okpo-Kriki, and Umugboma. Edo States of Ekpoma, Auchi, Ira, Lushi, Sabogida, Ora, Uromi. Taraba State, Kwara, Kaduna, Kebbi, Zamfara. Niger State of Mashegu, Kotagura, Lakpai, Riju, Sakin Power. Others are Katsina, Nasarawa State of Ado, Aso, Mara, Rabba, Adamawa State, Jigawa State, Kogi State, Kano of Kunchi, Sumaila, and Gombe State in Nafada. The center has urged relevant stakeholders to take note of this forecast and prepare accordingly. In a related development, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has called on the River State government to construct emergency shelters to accommodate flood victims. Adebiyi Razak, the South-South Zonal Director, emphasized the importance of these shelters in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria in Port Harcourt on Tuesday. This appeal comes on the heels of the warning from the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency about impending floods in 11 states due to the gradual release of water from Cameroon's Lagbo Dam. Meanwhile, the federal government has issued a flood alert predicting that 94 towns across the country are at risk of experiencing flooding from Tuesday, July 16th to July 20th, 2024. Previously, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has represented an additional supplementary budget proposal for the Federal Capital Territory to the House of Representatives for consideration and passage. The President in a letter read at the resumption of the plenary of the House of Speakers and Representatives on Tajuddin Abbas said the request is in accordance with the provisions of Section 121 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. According to the President, the supplementary budget proposed has been prepared on the basis of the FCTA review, revenue and expenditure forecast and is aligned with the fiscal and developmental policies of the federal government and the renewed hope agenda. He said with the additional supplementary budget, the FCTA will continue to prioritize improvements of human capital
July
and
2020
within the Federal Capital Territory.
Colleagues, we have an announcement from Mr. President.
In their usual expeditious manner, consider the approval of the 2020
motion that this House do stand adjourned to tomorrow.
This supplementary budget proposal has been prepared on the basis of the FCT's reviewed revenue and expenditure forecast and is aligned with the fiscal and developmental policies of the federal government and the renewed hope agenda. With it, the FCTA continues to prioritize improvement of human capital and infrastructure within the Federal Capital Territory. While I trust that the House of Representatives will, in their usual expeditious manner, consider and approve the 2024 supplementary budget proposal of the FCTA, please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, the assurances of my highest considerations and regards.
National Assembly resumed its plenary sessions on Tuesday, following the annual recess that began in late July. Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Speaker of the House Tajuddin Abbas presided over their respective chambers, reading several correspondences from President Bola Tinubu. The National Assembly resumed its plenary sessions on Tuesday with the recess. It was presided over by their respective chambers, reading several respondences from the President. The communications included the Supplementary Appropriation Bill for the Federal Capital Territory Administration, the nomination of Justice Kudirat Kekereekun for confirmation as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and a request for the confirmation of commissioners for the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission.
Very unfortunately, in the course of the break, this sad news of a very vibrant, distinguished colleague, a man who exuded so much candor, distinguished Senator Ifeanyi was broken. A monumental loss to this National Assembly, the Senate in particular, his family, the good people of Anambra State and Nigeria as a whole. We therefore extend our heartfelt condolences to his family, his constituents, Anambra State, and indeed our dear nation. At the appropriate time, we'll do justice to his legacies by devoting more time in chambers to discuss the times and life of distinguished Senator Ifeanyi.
After the formalities, all lawmakers paid tribute to the late Senator Ifeanyi by observing a moment of brief silence. Senator Uba, who passed away in late July 2024 at age 52, represented the Anambra South Senatorial District and chaired the Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources. And this is where we wrap it up on this edition of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network in the great city of Port Harcourt. I am King David Obasis, so far thanking you for staying connected with us. Continue with us on our socials, Facebook and YouTube Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok Atlantic TV Network 1, X, formerly known as Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.